So as usual, I'm sat here, I'm surrounded by all of these beautiful boots, and today we're going to be reviewing this. This little bit of rubber is going to be today's focus. Quickly out of the way, if you're not already subscribed, get subscribed, and of course like the video. I will be very interested to see what you guys think of this product, so stick your opinions down in the comments. But over the last 6 weeks I have been testing the Grip 7 lace brace. Now, this isn't an original product per se. I've seen things like this on the market before, and I've never really been overly impressed by what is on the market. So when I saw this product, I was like, it might be alright, it might not be anything special, it might just be a rehash of something old, and I have to admit, my expectations were not particularly high. But I actually spoke to the guys over at Grip 7, and they're super passionate about their product. Of course they are, but they really believe in it, which gave me a little bit of optimism going into testing, and I made sure I gave this every opportunity possible to shine through and impress me. Did it do it? Let's find out. So I suppose, firstly, what on earth is a lace brace? Well, it's almost always a rubberized loop which slides over your boots onto the midfoot and over the top of your foot to provide you with a striking element or a sweet spot or a lace cover or something to keep your laces tied up. It's always usually one or the other, something of those, and what Grip 7 have tried to do is take all of those elements and kind of roll them all into one product. As a result, Grip 7 have actually made a lot of claims about what their product can do. They list them all down on their website, so I thought the best way to review this is going to be to take all of those different claims of what Grip 7 think their product can do and analyze them and tell you if it's actually true or if they're just blowing a whole heap of smoke, and then I will give you my opinion on what I think of the product. So the whole concept of the Grip 7 lace brace seems to have come about because of a parent seeing an issue with younger kids having a problem where their laces just consistently come undone during matches, and we've all seen it. Parents tying kids' laces, referees tying kids' laces. So this was simply designed to slide over the boot, cover the laces, stop the laces coming undone. Now, for me, for most of you watching as adults, that's clearly not a benefit that we're looking for. We don't really have a problem tying our laces, or I would assume most of us don't. So this doesn't really have that benefit for me. However, for younger athletes, for parents who have younger athletes, that could be a benefit, and I can confirm through testing, it works. Keeps your laces done, or at least keeps them out of the way. Carrying on from the laces, you get Grip 7's first big claim. Now this is a bold one if you ask me. Grip 7 claim that you can just take the laces out of your boots, particularly anything that has a one-piece upper, and use the lace brace as your lockdown system. You don't need the laces anymore. So of course, I grabbed my Puma Futures because these are my kind of go-to if I need to take laces out of a one piece and use it, not designed to not have laces. I use these. I whip the laces out and I threw the lace brace on, find out what happens. Firstly, I was surprised. This is actually fairly effective. If you have a pair of boots with low lockdown, or a pair of boots that, has no laces, therefore has no additional lockdown, throwing the lace brace on actually gives you a nice amount of midfoot compression, and it is almost a replacement for laces in pure lockdown terms. It does what Grip 7 claim it can do, which is or was very surprising to me. I wasn't expecting it to be able to do that at all. However, with that said, I've got a perfectly good pair of Puma Futures here, and I've got a perfectly good pair of laces. Why would I whip the laces out and use this instead? I still have to slide this on. It probably doesn't take me any less time, and this isn't customizable. There's no way of customizing how this fits. I have one uniform lockdown, whereas with laces, I can adjust it a bit more to fit my feet, especially when I have something like a net fit system. So, a bit pointless to do, or is it? Again, this is something where you've got to look at it from different perspectives. From my perspective, am I ever going to use a lace brace over a set of laces? Absolutely not. The laces are better. However, I can possibly look at it from the point of view of, if I have a pair of boots that I want more lockdown in, if I want a pair of boots that are maybe starting to go a bit soft, that's not a bad option. And then also if I have small children, if you're thinking about kids once again, having something like this where they don't have to tie laces, they can just throw this on top, or maybe they can have it on and then slide their foot into the boots. It provides an alternative, and it provides something that doesn't mean, once again, laces are going to come undone and it's going to be a pain in the ass for kids. So would I trade it for laces? No. Is it more effective than I thought it would be? Yes. And it has a use for certain people in certain environments. The next Grip 7 claim is protection. This provides added protection when you get stepped on, if you get kicked. Now, you can't dispute that too much, and they're not exactly lying, because this is a reasonably thick layer of rubber that you're literally putting over the top of the boot, which, if you get stepped on, is definitely going to provide a little bit more protection. Is it making a huge difference? I don't think so, and if you get stepped on, it's still going to hurt like hell. As a kid, again, you might get a nice placebo effect, feel a little bit safer, which a lot of people do like. So, yes, there is a bit more protection. No, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. A rain jacket. Now, Grip 7 claim that this will prevent water getting into the boot, or prevent it getting in as much. Remember, it doesn't cover the whole boot, and therefore your boots are drier and your feet are drier. And yeah, it's a layer of rubber. It's definitely going to work. I've used this in the wet. Of course, your boots still get a bit wet, your feet still get a bit wet, but it does help. The question is it worth throwing that over for a little bit of extra rain protection? And remember, the less moisture that can get in means less moisture can also get out. Next, we come to the only claim that I don't really like, and it's that Grip 7 claim that this can give you added power and control. And this is a claim we see a lot from football boot companies, and I don't like the claim when it comes to them either. A power boot does not make your shot harder. A control boot does not make your touch better. It all comes down to your own personal skill. Now, what it does do is it changes the way that you strike the ball, or the way it feels when you strike the ball. It gives you more of that old school power boot element, oomph when you strike it, and gives you a bit more distance from the ball. It's less barefoot. The problem with that being that potentially that's not a sensation that you like. Personally, I prefer that slightly more connected feeling, and I don't want the extra layer of material. And then the other issue is that if you look at research, there is decent evidence to prove that having a more barefoot feel or a more barefoot strike on the ball allows you to hit the ball harder, which would be completely contrary to what a big rubber pad across the laces would do. So I don't like that claim at all. Does it give you a different sensation? Yes. Does it mean that maybe there's a bit more padding there and you can feel like you can strike the ball repeatedly without any kind of soreness from the foot? Possibly. But is it going to make your shot harder? No, it's not. And in terms of the control, you've got these ribbed elements that run down the front, which I'm actually really pleased that they added. I've seen products like this before. It's always completely smooth, and that makes it a bit slick, especially when it gets wet, which is pretty disappointing. It doesn't help you at all. So adding these grooves, very Predator 18 and 19-esque, is a benefit. And sure, it's rubber, it's slightly grippy, but do I think it improves your control? I don't. I absolutely don't. And I don't think that a product that I think we are aiming or is being pushed towards kids should be marketed as one that can improve your power and your control, when realistically we should be pushing the fact that it's about hard work and the kid's own technique. Is it detrimental to either of those things? Absolutely not. And you might really love the sensation you get when controlling and shooting with this on your boots. That's why people love different types of boots, different sensations. So this might be a sensation that you really, really like. I just don't like the claim that it's going to actually make you hit the ball harder or control the ball better. It's not a slight on the product, it's just a slight on the marketing and the wording that's been used to promote it. That pretty much covers all the biggest claims from Grip 7 themselves as to what this does. So what do I think about it? I think the biggest plus for me is the fact that it does provide good midfoot lockdown, and it is practically good enough to ditch the laces and put this on instead, even though it's maybe not something I would choose to do myself. Another big plus for me is that you can slide this on and forget about it. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't really feel like it's something that I'm going to notice all the way through a game. I can just slide it on, forget about it, and play. And I think that is a huge bonus. So you can forget about it, but it does definitely adjust your touch and feel on the ball from just having your boots, because of course it does. It's a thick piece of rubber. However, you might really like that. That could just be a matter of preference. Personally, I enjoyed the raw feel of pretty much every boot that I tried this on with. There's 6 or 7 different boots, but you might really want that kind of almost striking element rubber on the lace area of your boot. You might really enjoy it. So it's not a criticism of this at all. It's just that be aware the touch and feel of your boots will change when you put this on, but once you've got it on, you can forget about it. It's on and it does the job that it's expected to do. When I got this and I spoke to the guys over at Lace Brace, they made a big deal about giving me a video about how to get this on. Kind of I felt like trying to guide me in a way to basically not criticize how hard it might be to get this on. However, I don't think it's difficult at all. They sent me this special method that they use to put it on, which absolutely works, but honestly, I can just throw this thing on with no problems at all. It just slides straight onto my boots, and then the compression's there. I have no issues getting it on at all. So in terms of genuine criticism, I only really have 2 kind of nitpicky issues with it. The first being that when you put this on, and if it's wet and you're particularly using a sole plate that is maybe a chrome sole plate, they feel a bit slicker, and I do find that the straps slide underneath the boot. So what I had to do was I had to stretch it and get it all the way behind these studs in the back of the boot and right up here in the front, which not a problem, but it's just not the way it seems to be designed to work. So that's really stretching out to make sure that it doesn't slide under a wet sole plate. And my only other issue, I suppose, is that I don't really strike the ball off this central laced area so much. It's not my technique. When I'm striking the ball, I tend to strike it a little bit more towards the medial side, to a little bit further up the toe. So I'm hitting it like around this area here rather than making contact. So there's a little bit of variance between partly hitting the boot, partly hitting the lace brace. So it's not particularly consistent. I'm not sure how you would fix that. Maybe it needs to be bigger or in a different area. It's great for that strike clean off the laces, but I would suggest that me and maybe many other people don't really use that as our primary technique for hitting the ball these days. In conclusion, is this a product that I am likely to use again? And simply, no, it's not. I don't find the need for it, and I prefer playing without it. However, does that make it a bad product? I also don't think it does, because everything that they've set out to do with this, they achieve. There's not really any element of what they've tried to do that has failed. They've delivered across every single aspect. So then the question becomes, is this a pointless product? Is it a product that delivers what they tried to set out to deliver, but there's no need for the things that it delivers? And I also think the answer to that is no, it's not a pointless product. This is a product that simply isn't for me, and it's not for my demographic, it's not for me as a player and players like me. This is a product that's market is absolutely kids, younger athletes, because the idea of them sliding it on and being able to lock those laces in and not have their laces come undone over the course of a match is excellent. And then I think the way that this is designed in comparison to some other products on the market that are very similar, with that ridged area across the top instead of it being completely smooth, providing that extra lockdown, is all really positive. I think for the right audience and for the right younger player, this is actually a really solid product. They retail for about £15, so they're not overly expensive, and it's really down to you as to whether you feel that the constant undoing of laces is worth spending the money for your kid, because the chances are you're not going to be buying this yourself or for yourself. So I've really enjoyed testing this little bit of rubber out. It's something a bit different, and I love anything that's kind of football tech or something that's designed to improve our game or just add on to the football boot world. So I've really enjoyed that. So a huge thanks to Grip 7. If you do want a cop a pair, then go down, top comment, click there, and you can buy yourself a Grip 7 lace brace in like 800 colors. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this kind of thing, let me know. Maybe I'll get more boot accessories on the channel soon. Let me know what you'd like to see. Remember to hit the like button, get subscribed to the channel for all of my future videos. I've of course got that brand new Ultra SL, and it wouldn't be Boot Wizard if I didn't have the brand new Lotto Maestro dropping on the channel too. Well, that's all from me here today. It's all from me and my bright pink lace brace. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.